Um, my air will go off in a minute, so I'll try to talk loud for you guys. Couple things. One, this lecture, and I know you guys are always having issues with the computer, and I have had my own this week. So I have actually recorded this lecture for you guys, I think 4 times. No, 3 times. This will be my fourth. And I have not been able to get it to go through. So maybe today it will work. Um, anyways, I want you guys to get out. We'll talk about leadership behaviors first. Talk about leadership behaviors first, and then we'll move on to problem solving. Now, leadership behaviors, we had, if you guys will remember, we actually learned these last year, so this is just a review. We'll get a little bit more in detail as it goes on, but anyways, the initiator, okay, this is the person who kind of gets things started. If you guys work in a group or think about working in your, whenever you made your medical terminology game, you know, probably there was one of you that actually said, okay, we need to get started with this, you know, this is going to be due soon, you probably need to get going, you know, that's the initiator. Interpreter, this is the one who explains other people's ideas, and I find myself doing this a lot, actually. What I'll do is, you know, and I did this actually during the medical terminology game when everybody was arguing and no one would understand who needed to do what or what was the idea. Somebody would have an idea and they'd try to explain it, another person wouldn't get it, so then I would say, oh, what she's trying to say is blah, 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 whatever. And so, anyways, that's the interpreter that just trying to help everybody understand what's going on. The analyzer, this is the person who kind of like deep thinks about the ideas. Sometimes they're a little bit critical. They're like, okay, well, this is going to work because blah, 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 or this won't work because yada, 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 whatever it is. So they're going to be kind of thinking things through. They may down a few ideas, but try to come up with a better way and so forth. Okay, the harmonizer. This is the person who tries to get everybody to stay calm. There not to be much tension going on. They want everybody to be in a good mood and so forth. The encourager, this is the person who points out the good that people are doing. They're going to have a good attitude for everybody. They're going to try to, you know, bring everybody in. They're going to try to encourage people to take part. They don't want there to be a lot of tension either, but they specifically go out of their way to say, hey, you did a really good job on this, or you're really good at this, you know. Okay, these last few, there's a few negative ones here. Blocker, this is a person who's always opposing everybody's ideas. So somebody comes up with an idea and they say, oh, no, we can't do that because it, you know, that's just not going to work. Or, oh, no, we can't do that because we don't have this or that or whatever it is. You know those people. Domineering, this is the people who try to manipulate the group. They want the group to do what they want to do. They don't necessarily want to do what the general group wants. They try to manipulate and get people to do the things that they want for the group. A clown, this is the person, and you guys know this, always making jokes, they're cutting up, they're not really taking anything serious. You know, leadership-wise, they seem like a leader because they talk a lot or they're loud and they're out in front, but they don't really do anything with that leadership. They just laugh and cut up and keep other people from working. Assertive, this is the person that keeps everybody on task. Okay, guys, you know, let's start working on this, or we need to keep moving on. We need to keep thinking about what we're doing. Like, let's get back over here and keep working. They're going, like it says, they're the clock watcher. They want to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Everybody's, this might be the person who delegates tasks, you know, who doles out, hey, you're good at art, so you do the drawing, you do the researching, you do this, whatever. And then aggressive is one who verbally attacks other people. So aggressive is the person that, you know, no, you're an idiot, that's a stupid idea. And hopefully we don't have too many of those people who are just outright assertive, but you do run across them every now and then. So those are leadership behaviors. Again, I know it's a review from last year, not much to that. I just wanted to go back over them with you guys. Okay, so let's talk about problem solving. Okay, problem solving is a 4-step process. Now, you think about problem solving, these are things that you guys do already. I mean, you already know how to problem solve. You already follow these steps probably. I just want us to draw some attention to some specific areas where you can work on, or you might recognize the next time that you're doing group work. You might say, okay, like we're supposed to, let's make sure we've got those 4 things, those 4 steps covered. So number 1 is identify the problem. And I think that this becomes, I'm sorry, you're kind of far away. I think that this particularly becomes an issue when you have a project or something that you're supposed to be working on. And so like in here, for example, I think you'll run into a lot of projects in here, maybe you did last year, where you listened to the directions the first time but never went back to them, and so in the end you turn in a paper but you didn't really follow the directions. So for example, the principals class has been doing the presentations about the historical figures. Well, there's different questions that have to be answered about that person. It's not just what did they invent or what did they do. It asks for a biography, and it asks for their specific invention. It asks for what significance that has on healthcare today. And so if they don't ask those other questions, then they're still not going to, even though it may be an awesome PowerPoint or an awesome poster and awesome information, but if it's not what was asked, it's not going to get full credit. And that's the same for anything that you do. So always go back to the problem, read it, reread it, keep looking at it, keep going over it so you can figure out, what is it really wanting to know, like what's really being asked. It says to stay as objective as possible. That just means you don't get emotionally involved. Like subjective, if you'll remember, we talked about objective and subjective complaints, like pain is subjective because you can't really measure it. Same idea goes for here. You want to stay objective. You want to stay, calm. You want to keep to the facts. What is the problem? Is my opinion really an issue in this problem, or do I just need to get the job done? Step 2 is to brainstorm. And at this point, at step 2, when you're brainstorming ideas, that's not a time to evaluate. It's just a time to throw out ideas, anything that comes to your head. So you might, like it says, limit it to the one issue, because, you guys have listened to my lectures. I'm horrible at going off on tangents all the time. And the same thing happens when you're brainstorming, you're working on a project. Somebody's, I don't know, somebody starts talking about what they ate for lunch, and then somebody else starts talking about what another person ate for lunch, and then somebody starts talking about what they ate for lunch last night, and then somebody starts talking about what the nasty thing that they ate at their friend's house 2 weeks ago, and then somebody else starts talking about how so-and-so's mama can't cook. And you get off on these tangents, and you got to refocus. So brainstorming is a time to make sure that you stay focused on the issue. Set a time limit so that you don't spend, if you got 5 days to do a project, you shouldn't spend 4 days brainstorming. You should spend like half of the first day, and then you need to get moving with whatever it is. Don't evaluate at that point. Just list the ideas. Don't say the good things or bad things. List ideas, and then piggyback off of those even. And then make sure you write them down, of course. Number 3 is listing the consequences that can come from each one of the ideas. Okay, so whatever it is, those materials are going to be really expensive, so write that down. Okay, that one, that's a possibility because so-and-so has that at home. Hey, this one, that's not going to work because we don't have time to be able to accomplish that. So write down the consequences of them. What are the effects of each of those? And then last is to go back and say, okay, this is good, this is bad, this works, this doesn't. And then your group should come together and decide, what decision are we gonna make? How are we gonna get through this? And I know you guys do that automatically, but if you'll write out your steps and have a goal, kind of set a time limit for yourself in which you're gonna decide exactly what you're gonna do, that will help eliminate some procrastination. That will help eliminate some of that, oh my gosh, we have a day before a project or a day before a problem that we've got to get it figured out, and we've only got a day left. If you'll plan to do these steps in the very beginning, that gives you time to be able to hand out responsibilities for people to, figure out what they need to do. So anyways, just very basic information. We're going to keep going. Later this week, or next week, I'm sorry, we'll talk more about leadership, and we'll talk about teamwork. Communication is coming up, so all of those things. It's a really fun unit, good unit, but again, I know it's stuff that it's just that, for you guys, sometimes it helps to make a process out of things. You automatically know how to do it, but if you'll think of it in terms of a process, that kind of gives you check marks and a task list. And a lot of times for some people, a task list really helps. So anyways, I hope you guys get your problem solved today. You guys will have an assignment, just a group activity for today. I want you guys to do. It should be fun. Anyways, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.